That should be up and running. Yep, looks good. Greetings. Hello, YouTube. Good to have you. Now let me get a fresh browser window up where I need it there. We can get going. There we are. All right. Let's see. I know it's been a busy 24 hours, obviously, since the insanity of the other day. So I know we'll have a lot to cover here. All right. Oh, darn it. That's the one. All right, cool. Let's get going. Here we are. That is good. It's working. Let me see if I have anything tagged. I don't know. Probably. Yeah, a little bit. Just I think that was the last thing I played the other night. Here we go.
Right here, we got trash bins on the other side. Same thing on the other side over there. So ain't nobody gonna come through right now. We got a whole couch right out here too.
A whole ass couch.
We turn those amps up.
And is that a dumpster fire I see over yonder? It is a dumpster fire. Trump. I just love Donald Trump so much.
I believe, Jesse, we're going to have some very big announcements on this stuff in the next couple of days. I don't want to get ahead of the president on anything, but we believe that there is a nationwide fraud ring that's rooted in rooted in illegal aliens and others taking advantage of the American welfare system.
Oh, he let so much slip here. Oh my God.
We're going to get to the root of it, and anybody who's involved is going to get prosecuted.
It's so
I
great.
believe, Jesse, we're going to.
Oh, you could just spend an hour on that.
I believe, Jesse, we're going to have some very big announcements on this stuff in the next couple of days. I don't want to get ahead of the president on anything, but we believe that there is a nationwide fraud ring that's rooted
Told you so.
It's rooted in rooted in illegal aliens and others taking advantage of the American welfare system. We're going to get to the root of it, and anybody who's involved is going to get prosecuted.
Illegal aliens and others. Oh, this is so big. People have no fucking idea. But they will. They will. Sounds like very soon, so that's good. Would certainly explain all this crap popping off in Minnesota, wouldn't it? Actually, give me a second. I got to pull you guys up too. Where are my fine YouTube friends and my fine DLive friends? There's PootTube. There's DLive. All right. Beautiful. I need to pop out YouTube, please. There we go. Good stuff. All right, let's keep going. Governor Walz fired a whistleblower one day before his fraud testimony. The program, listen to this, jumped from $2.6 million to $161 million with 90% suspected fraud. Wow. 2.6 to 161 million a year. Critics say the dismissal reveals an industrial scale cover-up designed to protect political leadership from accountability. Duh. If you don't realize that yet, like, you're not paying attention. You don't get it. you're an idiot.
You have any doubt
Which I think sadly comprises large portions of their state.
that Governor Tim Walz
I don't know that any of them really realize it.
knew about this fraud as it was occurring?
He absolutely knew that it was occurring.
Thank you. The Housing Stability Services Program was estimated to cost about $2.6 million per year, but before it was shut down last October, it was on track to run about $122 million in 2025. In fact, I think they sucked $161 million out of it from the point it started in 2020 until it was finally shut down. Isn't that correct?
That is correct, and Joe Thompson believes that 90% of that was fraud.
Yeah. The Quality Leering Center, as uncovered by Nick Shirley, received almost $10 million in funding. Is that accurate?
I believe it is.
There are more than 80 autism centers in Minnesota under investigation. Is that true?
I believe it is, yes.
It's clear that someone is criminally complicit. You can't just let this amount of money get out of your administration over a period of 7 years without knowing.
Oh, no.
There was a hearing in the state regarding the fraudulent housing stabilization program, but before that hearing, Governor Walz fired the official who was slated to testify so that they could not testify and expose what was happening under Governor Walz's watch. Has Governor Walz or Attorney General Ellison fired anyone else to your knowledge, Representative?
Not to my knowledge, and that was Eric Rumdahl, and his administration believes that he was not fired, but I say he was fired because it was too convenient.
Right. Representative Hudson, is it true that 90% of the individuals charged, regardless of what your colleague on the panel just said with his facts and figures, 90% of the individuals charged or indicted with the $250 million Feeding Our Future COVID fraud are of Somali descent?
I believe that to be correct.
Are you aware that in a 2021 video, Mr. Ellison promised that he would obstruct his own agencies in their investigation of Somali fraud?
I am very much aware of that.
It's no wonder that criminals in the Somali community felt they were free to steal taxpayer dollars. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Marion. Do you have any doubt that Tim Walz knew about this fraud as it was occurring?
None whatsoever.
Walz and Ellison were protecting fraudsters instead of...
Oh, yeah. They knew they benefited. It's honestly going to be so much worse than people even get, I think. It's going on everywhere. It's definitely a Somali thing in that area, but it's other groups run their own ops in other states, in other areas. North Dakota, it's Liberians, believe it or not. Fucking what's the other one? Cameroon, is that it? Cameroonians. Got a fair amount of Nigerians around here too. Cameroon, Nigeria. Haitians, as we saw in the other one. It's like they've just carved up the entire United States while we were, I don't know, just twiddling our thumbs, watching Netflix. It's crazy. They've each carved away their own little portion where they just reap the public coffer completely. Obese leftist man meets major FAFO in Minneapolis. Okay. What even was that at the start, by the way? Look at these two. Oh my gosh.
think that happened? You're all fucking.
You're Nazis. You're Nazis. That's why.
You're a fucking Nazi. You don't care? You're a fucking Nazi. Pussy. Pussy. Yeah, pussy. You're a fucking Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. Go home. You're a fucking Nazi. Go fuck yourself. Pussy. Pussy, I'm talking to you, bitch. You're a fucking Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. Pussy. Take that mask off, you Nazi. You fucking Nazi.
Crazy. Jeez. And then just 25 minutes ago, Governor Tim Walz has just officially authorized the Minnesota National Guard. Here we go. Here we go. Just watch what fucking goes down now. Oh boy. Authorized the Minnesota National Guard to support local law enforcement, which of course we're doing what? Nothing. They were doing nothing. They were retreating, refusing to assist. So I don't know what the National Guard are going to do exactly, but yeah.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
You're gonna fucking die, bitch!
Fuck you!
Threatening to kill federal officials. Perfectly normal. Sorry, I'm trying to close some windows here. My stuff is going a bit slow. I should have gotten the model with upgraded RAM. Oopsie doopsie. Lesson learned. Okay. Windows closed. Good. Get out of here. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. That smooths things up a bit. Let's hope so. Let me go to Miss Steph's pile. Oh boy. I saw some interesting stuff rolling through today, so I saw Waltz in there. Actually, let me search that. I'm gonna see if I can find some more on his National Guard orders. Calpernon says RAM is cheap. You must be a Windows user. Yeah. Unfortunately, for all the benefits this little Mac has, one of them is that you cannot upgrade the RAM after the fact. You're locked in. Yeah. You better buy what you want right off the start, right at the, from the get-go. But good thing is they hold value well, so I can just trade it in. I'll just trade it in, it's fine. Not a big deal. Value of RAM is like through the roof though. RAM is not cheap. I don't know, what are you talking about? RAM is cheap. It was cheap like a month ago. It's about doubled in price since. Not even. Maybe even a little more. Yes, it's gotten pretty bad. SSDs are out of control too. Like, dude, this little guy that I just bought right here. Hold on, where's my? Let me get back to my regular view here. This little guy that I just bought, this tiny little dingus. Okay, it's like fits in the Just tiny, tiny little fucking thing. I love it. 6 terabytes. I bought it on sale for like 300. It was like, I think it was maybe like 320, 330 bucks. Let's see what these go for now. I haven't even looked. We'll see. It's a Crucial X10 6 terabyte. Let's see where this is at right now. Crucial X10 6 terabyte. New. Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and that's on sale too. Oh, God. MSRP 750. On sale price 564. That is over $200 increase. That is fucking bonkers. Pardon me. Sorry. Pardon my French. My God. I hear it's about to get worse too, by the way. Just FYI, anyone out there thinking of like buying storage space that you might need, or RAM, either RAM or SSDs, you better do it like now. Now. Like I'm literally about to pop down to Walmart and pick up probably one of these guys. They usually limit you to one at this point, from what I hear. You can even get the deal anymore. Oh no, is it gone? Please don't be gone. No. No. Walmart. Please, Walmart. Please, Walmart. This is like the one thing I'll go to Walmart for. No, don't tell me they're out of it. Oh, that would so suck, dude. Yeah, if you get lucky, you'll find a local deal for 319 bucks for one of these. But you have to go into the local store. They won't ship it to you. It's local only, and it's only specific locations, and they disappear like that. Frick, I miss it. I knew I should have gone this morning. Such a jackhead. Oh well. See, look at that. It's the 2 terabyte. That's up to 400. This is the actual manufacturer's website. SanDisk now owns these guys. Look at what that's up to. 4 terabytes, over $1,000. Selling right now at Walmart for 300. Okay, 320 bucks. If you get lucky, if you can find it. That's going to be the prices in the span of like a month or two. If this continues, it's crazy. Never seen anything like it. Out of control, man. All right. What's the latest on Waltz in the National Guard? Let's see.
After saying, get the F out of the city from the mayor, the governor comes out. And the government makes a statement saying that we do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotans' safety. I have issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. A heads up for who? A heads up for who? There is no other way to read this other than I am training our National Guard to stand up against our federal government. Gang, this is the beginning of a civil war unless everybody remains calm and does the constitutional thing. So when this happened yesterday, I wanted to reach out to some friends who, know the Constitution, and ask them, how does the National Guard actually work? A governor
Good question.
cannot block the Department of Justice in any criminal investigation. The governor cannot block the Department of Homeland Security enforcement action. A governor cannot block immigration and customs enforcement deportations carried out under federal statute. Federal authority in these areas come directly from what's called the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution. It means the federal law is supreme over what the governor says and what the state law is. State consent for federal law enforcement is not required. So when a governor says we don't need any further help from the federal government, that's all political. There's nothing legal in that. Nothing. Now, a governor can refuse cooperation, but it can't interfere. And the moment the governor crosses this line from non-cooperation to interference,
insurrection,
they've just violated the Constitution and put us on the edge of a constitutional crisis or civil war. Using the National Guard as a warning is the brightest red line you can find, because there is no authority in the Constitution. In fact, the Constitution talks specifically about this and what he's trying to do. They can't obstruct federal officers. They can't enforce state political objections against the federal law. They cannot deploy or be threatened to deploy against DOJ, DHS, or ICE, because that violates the Supremacy Clause. Also, posse comitatus. So it's not an issue of state rights. Once he says, I'm threatening to use the National Guard, that's constitutional defiance. Here's what Walz is actually doing. He's not going to call up the National Guard and do that because he knows he'll go to jail. And he's trying to avoid going to jail. That's why he and the mayor are doing this, because of all of the corruption in Minnesota. What he's actually calling up is not the National Guard. He is calling up the Democratic National Guard. He is trying to get people who are so zombie-like on the Democratic side to go up and put their bodies in and to obstruct. He's using them as soldiers. That's not just unconstitutional on the National Guard side. That is just morally reprehensible.
Yep. It's gonna be pretty wild to watch the fall of Tim Walz here if he keeps us up. Look at this. These empowered white women. Yep. Oh, feminism. What a great thing it was. Look at all it's brought us.
So what happened just now is that these Border Patrol officers have gotten themselves surrounded. You're running into them. You're running into them. You're the one touching them. You're running into them. Hey, you're the one running into them. You're the one running into them.
Yep. Carbon copies. Every one. Not a lick of difference between them. Pumped out at a factory. May as well be anyway. Okay, hold on. Back to the pile here. There we are. I think we busted those out this morning. There we go. Hitchhiker's Gun. Well, I know we got a lot more to get to. Steny Hoyer retiring, Maryland. No joke. Bowie. That's where I would have had to head to get that RAM from Walmart. Oh, nice find, by the way. I saw you at their Arc of Info dropping that X9 from Germany. It is a decent deal, but I'm specifically looking for that high-speed internal stuff for a Windows laptop. Otherwise, you know, I'd be getting that. But I'm pretty much good on like external SSD space. I'm probably gonna like build one more. You can build your own SSD drives, like super fast, high speed ones, way better than those little crucials, for roughly the same price, which is what I usually do. Little tip there. They're fantastic. Love it. You just a sorry nerd tip. Quick detour. Just look for SSD enclosure, and you can take the little RAM sticks, pardon me, SSD sticks, and put them in these little guys. You build your own little external SSD, and they run like 4-6 times as fast as one of those little crucials. They're incredible for like, obviously a pretty special use case, but anytime you're editing large videos, these are just clutch. So nice. So yeah, I might pick up one more before prices just get completely out of freaking control. Never know. Might come in handy. Could always sell it too. Walk away with a nice little profit. Secretary Rubio set to meet with Danish officials next week to discuss acquiring Greenland. It's happening. They're doing it again.
It is obviously in a critical place in the world overlooking the Arctic, and we've got threats from Russia and China there. The question is, how do we defend our own national security interests there, and whether we want to take over Greenland or not? Look, there's 57,000 people there, and they get a right to decide, do they want to be part of Denmark, or do they want to be part of the United States? The polls indicate they don't want to be part of the United States. And so what we want to do, however we proceed, is avoid any collateral damage to this important allied relationship with a NATO partner that mobilized after 9/11 and sent troops to Afghanistan on our behalf. I think that's going to be critical going forward, is ensuring that we have good, productive allied relationships to deal with those threats, and Denmark is one of them. It is obviously in a critical place in the world overlooking the Arctic, and we've got threats from Russia and China there. The question is, how do we defend our own national security interests there, and whether we want to take over Greenland or not? Look, there's 57,000 people there, and they get a right to decide, do they want to be part of Denmark, or do they want to be part of the United States? The polls indicate they don't want to be part of the United States. And so what we want to do, however we proceed, is avoid any collateral damage to this important allied relationship with a NATO partner that mobilized after 9/11 and sent troops to Afghanistan on our behalf. I think that's going to be critical going forward, is ensuring that we have good, productive allied relationships to deal with those threats, and Denmark is one of them. It is.
Oh, heck no, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Sorry, I gotta scroll again. It did the thing. Piece of junk. Or did some hag get arrested? What do we got here? That's the attorney lady. I guarantee you just about I think I'd probably be comfortable laying down like at least $100 bet on it. If I were a betting man, that she's with what do you call it? NLG, National Lawyers Guild.
What do you think? I don't know. I say we line up right across these and block these doors.
Yeah, right.
I second that motion. Go ahead. Try and move us. Let's block them in.
all have that nasty ass voice too. Because, you know, they're the type of women that just don't do anything except yell all the time.
She's a lawyer, so is that
Starts wearing on their vocal cords.
all right?
I refuse to provide legal advice.
Oh, okay, it's okay. It's okay. That's all right, 'cause we're not
But I
doing nothing
will
wrong.
say, misdemeanor bail, $78 exactly is the minimum bail. Make sure you have some cash on you when
I got
you
some
are
cash for
out.
everybody.
Rating. That is great. Can you imagine being married to that?
Make sure
Think
that
about that one for a second.
you get yourselves out.
For real. Yeah.
Not that she'd ever dare tie herself down. Oh no. Not Miss Boss Lady Attorney.
So let's organize and let's lock these doors up so they can lose business
She's too busy helping the migrants.
and deal with this atrocity that happened. If they arrest us all, it's going to be a party in jail.
Saving the daycares. So here she is. Brenna Snow Ramlow. Nice name. Could make a joke, but I won't. Minnesota lawyer who tried to organize rioters to surround and obstruct federal courthouse on January 7th, 2026. Arrested in 2019 on accusation of driving under the influence. Well, she's aged considerably since this photo was taken. I can say that with confidence. Visibly. Milwaukee Public Schools hired a deputy superintendent from Minneapolis Public Schools at $240K a year. $240K? Now we learn Ibrahima Diop. Oh, he's on administrative leave for failing to file required school financial paperwork with the state.
We needed to be more transparent, and we did that.
That's Ibrahima Diop, a name unfamiliar here in Milwaukee. For the last decade, Diop has served as the senior financial officer for Minneapolis Public Schools. 3 weeks ago, Diop was hired by the Milwaukee Public School District as the deputy superintendent of operations, serving under Superintendent Brenda Casilius with an annual salary of $240,000. This past Friday, the Minnesota Reformer reports Diop and 2 other senior leaders in Minneapolis were put on administrative leave. That's after the school board learned they failed to submit necessary financial paperwork to the state as the district faces a $25 million budget shortfall. Sound familiar? It might. I've been reporting on Milwaukee Public Schools' own financial missteps for the last year and a half. In May 2024, we learned MPS also failed to submit its own financial records to the state, and the state threatened to withhold tens of millions of dollars.
Wow. Oh, boy. Oh, come on now. Boop. Minnesota Senator. What is going on? Nice. Good. Calling on Trump and the DOJ to open a criminal investigation into Waltz and Keith Ellison. They're fucked, man. It's great.
Chair recognizes.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, just referred to the DOJ for criminal charges.
Ms. Luna.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. Honorable Robbins, based on your record before your committee, when did Governor Walz first become aware of widespread fraud in Minnesota social service programs?
I would assume that he has been aware of it since he ran for office for governor in 2018.
By 2017, DHS investigators warned CCAP fraud could exceed 50%. What was that information elevated to the governor's office?
Yes, there was an OLA report.
Thank you, ma'am. By 2020, state officials knew feeding our future invoices were fraudulent. We know that payments continued to the AG's knowledge. Did they continue to the governor's knowledge as well?
Yes.
Attorney General Ellison agreed on tape to fight Minnesota's own Department of Human and Health Services in exchange for Somali political and financial support. In your personal opinion, do you believe it is a possibility that Governor Walz also made that personal deal, or that he at least knew about the Attorney General's agreement?
Yep. Bingo.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't want to rehash what you guys have spent hours answering. We know that there's a big issue with the fraud in Minnesota. So on a number of things, I'd first like to point out, thank you for being here today. But because of your testimony and because of some of the evidence that we've seen brought forward, as well as I'm sure the fact that this committee, I assume, at Chairman Comer's direction, will be soon subpoenaing AG Ellison, I would like to make criminal referrals regarding Governor Walz as well as AG Ellison. As you know, U.S. Code 371 and U.S. Code 2, which deals with criminalized conspiracies to defraud the United States and establishes liability for individuals who knowingly aid or abet the commission of federal offense, includes willful blindness or deliberate inaction where duties to act exist. So I will be referring them later on today.
There it is. This is from yesterday, but we'll play it. Or no, I'll just read it out. One of the state reps that were testifying yesterday was asked about retaliation, whistleblower retaliation, and they responded, "You lose your job, lose your home. They'll track your children. What? They'll make sure you can't get a job in government." Yep. Crazy. Fox News mocked Democrats for their groundbreaking work yesterday to expose fraud in Minnesota.
That hearing was supposed to be about the massive fraud scandal ongoing in Minnesota. Many Democrats on the committee appeared eager to talk about anything but the fraud.
Yeah.
What percent of sexual assaults in the United States are committed by white men?
I have legislation that will take Trump's name off that.
You want to look at per capita figures, my dear?
Off that building and restore it.
Raise your hand if you oppose the pardon of George Santos.
I stand with the Somali and the immigrant community.
Mayor Mamdani unveils a new multi-billion universal child care program expanded to toddlers, especially home-based daycares. Wow. You've got to be freaking kidding me. That is brazen.
Not only when we make pre-K truly universal, but expand this care to include all 2- and 3-year-olds across the city. As the governor said, we will deliver to care by working in partnership with child care providers, especially home-based.
It's just so brazen. It just seems almost so like why would they do that? It's so obvious at this point. Like, it's just begging to get caught, which they will. Every eye in the freaking country is on this.
Who have been doing this work without thanks or recognition for far too long. Not only when we make
bizarre. Kristi Noem today, talking about the ramming and shooting incident.
This vehicle was used to hit this officer. It was used as a weapon, and the officer feels as though his life was in jeopardy. It was used to perpetuate a violent act that this officer took action to protect himself and to protect his fellow law enforcement officers. So we'll let this continue to go forward and follow the same policies and procedures that every use of force situation does. But we've had almost over 100 times that these vehicles have been used to ram law enforcement officers and to do damage and to harm them. When you take an action and use a weapon to harm someone and to incite violence against them and try to cause them injury or death, then it needs to be labeled exactly what it was. Yep. This vehicle was used to hit this officer.
They had no idea if this person was going to then immediately throw it into reverse and try to run him over again. They had no effing clue.
They have not been cut out. Huh. They don't have any jurisdiction in this investigation.
Oh, so the locals, I guess, were whining that they'd been cut out. That's cute.
Yes.
Director Russo spoke about how this operation happened discreetly under the cover of darkness, and that's how it should be, which is in contrast to what happened in Minneapolis yesterday. You said
What do you mean in contrast to
that
what
was
happened?
very much not under cover
because of the
darkness.
protesters and the violent
Well, so
criminals
my
that were
question for
attacking
you
our
is,
law
you
enforcement.
had
If you
said-
remember in that operation,
May I-
what happened was our officers were out trying to get a car stuck out of the snow when they were surrounded and assaulted and blocked in by protesters that were inciting.
The officer was following his training.
He
I'm
did follow his
wondering,
training
does
because of an
firing 2
individual
shots
that was
point blank into a driver's window. Is that part of the training? How is that self-defense?
This is an experienced officer who followed his training, and we will continue to let the investigation unfold into the individual and continue to follow the procedures and policies that happen in these use of force cases. But let's remember the events that surrounded what happened yesterday on that tragic situation was that these individuals had followed our officers all day, had harassed them, had blocked them in. They were impeding our law enforcement operations, which is against the law. And when they demanded and commanded her to get out of her vehicle several times, she did not. So we'll continue to allow this process to unfold and recognize that these law enforcement officers every single day put their lives on the line. They go out and do their jobs. They go out and
Terrorist, though, without an
this was an act
investigation.
of domestic terrorism,
There
which
had
is
been no
perpetuating
investigation into who she was or what she was about, and yet now you're saying
these
you can't
policies
speak
and
about the incident
procedures that
because of
follow a use of force.
Like, in what world does someone think it is even remotely acceptable to go throw themselves in the middle of an active enforcement operation with their vehicle, no less? Like obviously a potential deadly weapon. Like, in what world is that even remotely acceptable? It is just nuts that these people are even coming at it from such an angle. It's nuts. It's ridiculous. Absurd to even to consider the possibility that that's okay. Ridiculous, man. These people are just sick. Tim Walz blames ICE's reckless mobilization for the self-defense shooting.
They shared a message about the reckless.
What about her reckless mobilization into the middle of an active enforcement operation? What about that?
Mobilization is not keeping us safe and led to the tragedy that the world witnessed once again.
I've not used inflammatory terms of what happened.
You talked about declaring war on the government, dude.
I've not used inflammatory terms of what happened.
U.S. Senate votes to advance war powers resolution, reining in Trump's actions on Venezuela 52-47, with several Republicans joining Democrats. Fucking unreal. Republican yeas: Susan Collins, Josh Hawley, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, and Todd Young. Huh. Good to know. Trump earlier today is posting, let's see, Republicans should be ashamed of the senators that just voted with Democrats in attempting to take away our powers to fight and defend the United States of America. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young should never be elected to office again. This vote greatly hampers American self-defense and national security, impeding the president's authority as commander-in-chief. In any event, and despite their stupidity, the War Powers Act is unconstitutional, totally violating Article 2 of the Constitution, as all presidents and their departments of justice have determined before me. Nevertheless, a more important Senate vote will be taking place next week on this very important subject. Chucky Schumer refuses to deny the Democrats want to shut down the government over the attack on ICE in Minneapolis.
Democrats are threatening to shut down the government right now. Some of your colleagues are threatening to shut down the government right now over the fatal shooting in Minneapolis. Given the fact that we saw the government shut down over these subsidies, I mean, is this a road that Democrats now want to walk down again?
The Appropriations Committee, and particularly the committees on Homeland Security, are taking up this issue, and they will have a very important and serious discussion about it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're setting up barricades today. Makeshift barricades using trash and stolen items to prevent ICE from traversing down streets. Protect the living and honor the dead. A few rental electric scooters for good measure. You know, why not? Provides a little structure.
But we think really good is the thing. If you, but like, I think people are
What even is half of this shit? A door, a random ass door. Here's a tire. That appears to be an old television of, yep, that's an old TV. Who knows? Oh, here we got Timu Obama.
Slash funding for ICE or hold ICE accountable for these fatal shootings. There are multiple shootings, not just what happened to Renee Good.
Let me first say that the killing of Renee Nicole Good was an abomination, a disgrace. And blood is clearly on the hands of those individuals within the administration who've been pushing an extreme policy that has nothing to do with immigration enforcement connected to removing violent felons from this country. We support the removal of violent felons from this country who are here illegally. But that's not what this administration has been doing under the so-called leadership of Kristi Noem, who's a stone-cold liar. There's no evidence at all that this was a justified shooting. So let's deal with the tragedy right now. She hasn't even been buried. Her family is grieving. She was a single mom and an American citizen. And we all are outraged by what took place in Minneapolis, and we will respond decisively.
You're not outraged. You're giddy. You're giddy.
You're
just over the moon. You're excited.
Go ahead.
You can tell too.
Go ahead. And I just want to, I watched the video. You felt like your stomach was being punched. Looking at the video, there seemed no justification for what these agents did. There needs to be a full investigation at the federal level, although I have little faith in.
That's stretching the truth a bit.
The FBI at doing a fair investigation, or DHS.
Schumer silent on the fraud scandal. Yeah.
So Tim Walz stepped
Boy, does this ever give them the opportunity to do that?
down as governor. How can he be trusted to investigate the fraud in Minnesota when he's complicit?
Wham, wham, Renee Good. Wham.
Process either for Venezuela or now.
A man showed up outside the ICE facility in Minneapolis to spit on a federal agent. Now in federal custody. Wah wah. Ah.
Take me. Take me. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's happening, buddy. Don't worry.
We've also spent a lot of time talking last 24 hours.
Oh, here we get a nice little extended clip of Timmy. We've learned the Trump admin has now denied the state that ability to participate in the investigation in which they have no jurisdiction. Okay.
It's about accountability. That means no function of government operates with impunity. It means when someone's in a position of authority and they commit any act that impacts our people, there has to be another place to turn to get justice. Checks and balances. Basic idea, the center of the formation of our country. It's the only measure that protects us from the abuse of government or federal overreach or tyrannical government. Yesterday, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the BCA, spent the day yesterday attempting to get that accountability. We have learned that the Trump administration has now denied the state that ability to participate in the investigation. And I just want to make this as clear as possible to everyone. Minnesota must be part of this investigation. These are nonpartisan career professionals that have spent years building the trust of the community. There's a BCA Force Investigations Unit that was created by the legislature, by the people of Minnesota, to provide an independent, consistent, and trusted mechanism for investigating the use of force incidents involving law enforcement officers. Minnesota has seen our share of these. And what you've seen is, and I have witnessed it during my time, that these professionals have risen to the moment. They are trusted by people. People who are not by inclination trusting of law enforcement or government have come to see the professionals at the BCA as true arbitrators that can get them justice. The unit is the result of years of scrutiny, public engagement, and bipartisan legislative action. Minnesotans have made it clear time and again they expect transparency through this process where a police officer uses deadly force. The BCA, Superintendent Evans, have earned that trust by delivering on that expectation. I think it's clear to everyone as they saw this that it feels now that Minnesota has been taken out of the investigation. It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome. And I say that only because people in positions of power have already passed judgment, from the president to the vice president to Kristi Noem, have stood and told you things that are verifiably false, verifiably inaccurate. They have determined the character of a 37-year-old mom that they didn't even don't know. They've determined that the actions are done. I don't know. I've not used inflammatory terms of what happened. I've asked us to find the answers. The only way we find the answers is a thorough investigation by nonpartisan professionals. We've delivered that. We've been able to do it. We've earned the trust. And when I say that, the trust of BCA, and I tell Minnesotans the trust of law enforcement here. Everyone knows, globally, certainly here, that George Floyd, who was murdered a few blocks from this site, tore at the soul of who we were. But we healed. We built back trust. Chief Brian O'Hara came in and took one of the most difficult jobs in America of building back trust in the police force in Minneapolis after Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd. And he's earned that. And he's level. And he's fair. And he's asking for that. And so, Minnesotans, I will continue to press that we be part of the investigation, that we do the investigation, so that Minnesotans can trust what the outcome is. I don't have a predetermined notion. Yes, I saw the video. Yes, I saw that. But a thorough investigation will see what happened before that. It will take all factors in, and it will come up with a fair and just conclusion. And we will accept that. Very, very difficult for Minnesotans to think in any way this is going to be fair when Kristi Noem was judge, jury, and basically executioner.
What?
That's very, very difficult to think that they were going to be fair.
Boy, pulling out all the stops, huh, buddy? Homeland Security posting the work continues in Minnesota. Yeah, they're not leaving. Oh, Rand Paul, one of the one of the losers who will cross the aisle for that bill, I'm sure. We'll skip that. Business as usual is a death sentence for Los Angeles. Spencer Pratt. Nice. He's running for mayor. Good for him. Yep.
The system in Los Angeles isn't struggling, it's fundamentally broken. Business as usual is a death sentence for Los Angeles. And I'm done waiting for someone to take real action. That's why I am running for mayor. And
The former star of The Hills and his wife, Heidi Montag, are among the thousands to lose their home in the LA fires. Pratt is
He is
promising
pissed about this. So cool. Good for you.
expose
Good
any
for you, bub.
negligence, calling himself Karen Bass's worst nightmare. The primary is being held on June 2nd, and more than a dozen other candidates have entered the race as well. So a notable name there.
the system in Los Angeles
All right. Atlanta Fed just surged the Q4 GDP forecast. Wow, to a whopping 5.4%. Nice. That's pretty crazy, though. Economy gearing up for boom, indeed. Feels like it, too. Trump sat for a 2-hour interview with New York Times last night with not just one reporter or two, but 4. Whoa. Wow. 2 hours just back and forth with 4 hostile reporters. Yeah. Wouldn't catch Biden with even one. So, is that out now? Yeah, guess so. Treasury announces the United States immediate withdrawal from the Green Climate Fund. Yes. Trump seeking to be reimbursed for legal expenses in the Fannie Willis case based on recent Georgia law. Oh, wow. Excuse me. This is a collection of legacy media reporting on the shooting. Just laying the propaganda on thick, huh? Yep.
It is scary in the sense that like they came after me. They tried to debunk me, but they couldn't. And so then they came after my family. They doxed my house. Right now I have security with my mom all at 24/7, and I have to roll with security, and it's not what I wanted.
Oh my God, that's sad, bro.
And it's just because you expose fraud. Like, isn't that something everyone should be celebrating?
On the ladder, is there anyone coming to support you that's like trying to offer you more security or wants you to keep going and continue exposing these people?
Yeah, a lot of people have reached out. For instance, named Officer Tatum. He actually started he has a security company. He has like a nonprofit side where people can donate. And so I have received donations that go that I can only use for security. So I have to use it. And so that's been great because security is not cheap.
Right.
It's thousands of dollars a day.
Yeah.
And I don't make that much money as a YouTuber. It is scary in the sense that like they came after me. They tried to debunk me, but they couldn't. And so then they came after my family. They doxed my.
Yep. ICE confirms to Fox News they've arrested a Somali illegal alien sex offender in Minneapolis who has a prior conviction in 2016 for first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Excuse me, for forcing a victim to perform oral sex on him multiple times. ICE says Mahad Abdul Qadir Yusuf also has prior arrests for first-degree assault and has an active warrant from 2024 for obstructing cops. ICE says they previously tried to arrest him at his apartment, but the building manager blocked ICE from entering and shielded the convicted sex offender. Oh, how nice. This time they got him in a targeted operation. Bon voyage. Gross. Oh, Judge Boasberg faces impeachment and removal due to abusing his role as chief judge.
Judge Boasberg doesn't judge cases involving President Trump impartially. He has made it clear time and time again in his rulings and his comments that he, instead of wearing that black robe, wears in fact a blue jersey. He has continually abused the power as chief judge in 5 separate ways. 1, forcing himself onto hot button cases. 2, abusing his power in the judicial conference to fearmonger to the judiciary about the specter of a non-existent constitutional crisis. 3, rubber-stamped gag orders on subpoenas against U.S. senators. 4, trying to hold DOJ lawyers in contempt for a case the Supreme Court said he had no jurisdiction over. And 5, he sits on the Circuit Judicial Council, which would be able to overturn any disciplinary action taken against him, interestingly. Article 3 has not policed itself. That's the reality. We have to be able to check a rogue judge through the impeachment process, and I don't say that lightly. The House must exercise that power. Judge Boasberg didn't...
But will they? Gavin Newsom cutting off journalists and parents' access. Excuse me. So sorry. To daycare records after who? Amy Reichert started exposing the ghost daycare fraud this week. Going on in California, of course. Looks like Newsom did it the day before his first live State of the State speech in several years, which is happening this morning. Could you be any more obvious, Gavin? I mean, really? Cutting off journalists' access to public records to keep covering this up? Like, it is just so... Come on, man. Colombian President Petro caves big time to Trump. Just called Trump and dropped the Tough Guy Act. Meeting being arranged with Rubio. Huh.
Under Governor Tim Walz, billions of dollars intended for families in need, housing for disabled seniors, and services for children were diverted to benefit fraudsters. I am here this week to signal the U.S. Treasury's unwavering commitment to recovering stolen funds, prosecuting fraudulent criminals, preventing scandals like this from ever happening again, and investigating similar schemes state by state.
Yes. Good. Take a close ass look at DC. I'm telling you, it's bad. Scott Besson on tracking down fraud. GAO believes that there is somewhere between 300 to 600 billion, with a B, 100 billion of annual fraud every year. Wow. That is roughly 10% of all government spending.
The IRS called criminal investigations, and these men and women, they are cool cats. They can take apart a balance sheet and they can knock down a door and arrest someone. Like, they go out on patrols, they can make arrests. It's this very interesting hybrid force, about 2,500 of them, and they led the charge here. So it was IRS CIs who uncovered the initial fraud and the prosecutions. So it's with that group, with other groups at IRS, and with the powers of the Treasury to track where the money came from, where it's going. We saw this very unsettling news yesterday that many people involved here with the administration of these programs have tried to go back and they recreate documents, change documents, and we're not going to have that. We are going to hold people accountable. We're going to press this to the full extent possible. And like I said, I think that this may just be, it's a cold day outside, so this could be the tip of the iceberg here in Minnesota, but it's probably may not be as prevalent, but the dollars may be bigger and larger in other states. And just to put this,
oh yeah, they will be,
in perspective for American taxpayers, for American families, the GAO, the General Accounting Office, believes that there is somewhere between 300 and 600 billion of annual fraud, roughly 10% of government spending.
It's insane.
That disappears due to fraud. If we can recapture that, that is 1 to 2% of GDP.
That is insane, dude. 10% of all government spending is fraudulent. And that's just going by what the GAO believes. So 1960. I'll do 1968. All right. All right. We're going to get us a graph of the increase in Medicaid spending per capita over time. Let's see. That, of course, is for the entire government, 300 to 600 billion for the entire government. But a pretty significant portion of that is going to be Medicaid. Medicaid and contracts. All right. Give me the goods, Gemini. We'll come back in a second. Oh, A.G. Ellison says the woman who tried to run over ICE agents with her car was only trying to do legal observing.
My question is, why, I mean, this is a civilian, this is a Minnesota person, a civilian, a person who is only trying to do legal observing.
That is absurd. In what world, again, is it even remotely acceptable for a so-called legal observer to charge into the middle of an active enforcement operation in their vehicle, park illegally across the entire road, block traffic, obstruct the actual law enforcement operation as it's going on? That and you're going to call that legal observing?
No reason to believe she came there to harm anyone.
What?
She wanted to observe. Why wouldn't a joint investigation give the public greater confidence that whatever you feel happened actually is what happened? My question is...
Such a scumbag. Senior DHS official tells CBS News that the ICE immigration agent who opened fire yesterday in Minneapolis is based in Minneapolis and has over 10 years of experience. He's a member of the ICE ERO Special Response Team, a specially trained tactical unit within ICE enforcement and removal operations. Okay. He's apparently involved in another incident earlier this year, or last year rather, in which the feds were attempting to arrest a Robert Carlos Munoz, previously convicted of sexually assaulting a minor on an immigration warrant in St. Paul. As agents tried to conduct a traffic stop, Munoz refused orders to roll down his window or exit the vehicle. ERO officer broke a rear window and reached inside to unlock the car door. At that point, Munoz put his car in drive, dragging the officer approximately 100 yards with his arm inside the car as he accelerated and weaved to try to shake him off. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Officer twice fired a taser in an unsuccessful attempt to stop him. Officer was freed when the vehicle knocked him out of the window, and Munoz continued fleeing. Munoz was later federally charged with assaulting a federal officer with a dangerous weapon. Officer required 33 stitches. Jeez. Okay. Neville Singham faces subpoena from the House. Good.
It was literally a foreign ATM taking cash out of the United States to foreign destinations, and we don't know the reason why. But that is now under investigation by the FBI and HSI. And people say, well, is this normal? I mean, maybe this goes on at every airport. We got comparative statistics yesterday.
What the heck?
The amount of money that these Somali couriers took out of the Minneapolis airport.
That whole thing, yeah.
TSA flagging
cash flying through the airport
daily was 99 times larger than all the cash that was declared in luggage going out of New York's JFK International Airport, one of the busiest international airports in America.
That's nuts.
99 times more than what flies out of Dallas. 90% more. 90% more than what was flown out of Seattle, which is the most common airport for people to go to Asia from. This was an abnormally high amount of cash being stuffed in the luggage, being detected every day by the TSA. Because, by the way, the couriers they declared the money. They literally would say, yeah, we got $1 million in our suitcase, which you have to do to get it through the airport. And nobody in the Biden administration thought it was unusual that $1 million of cash was moving in luggage out of the country, out of Minneapolis every day, way more than any other airport in America at the time. This is, I think, the second end of this welfare scam, which is where was this money going after it was defrauded?
Yep. Nowhere good. Minnesota taxpayers' cultural heritage fund has quietly given over $1 million to promote Somali heritage. Projects include Somali oral history interviews. Oh, how nice. That's, I'm sure, in such great demand. Somali museums and artifact preservation. For what? What have they ever built? Somali music and lullabies. No thanks. And Somali Independence Day. Sign outside of a downtown Minneapolis McDonald's. No ICE access in this business. Notice to all law enforcement and immigration agents. This is a private business. You are not permitted to enter non-public areas of this business, including offices, break room, storage areas, and staff-only areas, without a valid judicial warrant signed by a judge or magistrate. You may not question employees or search the premises without proper legal authority. Blah, blah, blah. We'll seek legal recourse or something. Pulling out all the stops, huh? Waltz and Ellison were just criminally referred. Yep. John Kennedy gets on his knees and begs John Thune for a second reconciliation bill. Really?
We need to do another reconciliation bill. We can to fix the welfare system and stop the stealing.
Oh, yeah, she's down here.
Stop the stealing. And we can do it with all Republican votes. So please, Senator Thune, pretty please, as I've said before. I'm shameless, I'll beg. I'll get down on my knees. John, please bring another reconciliation bill. We can do so much, but we can start with fixing welfare fraud. Please, John, please let us do the bill. We need to do another reconciliation bill. We can to fix the welfare system and stop the stealing.
There you go, baby.
Stop the stealing.
It's okay, big baby. You snuggle in daddy's lap. There you go. Meow, meow. All right, what's next? Oh, she's happy. Happy baby.
Call attention to her beauty.
I did. She's so cute. She's a big fat baby. Big fat kitty. Meow, meow. Okay, what's next? Please. JD.
If you're a young parent struggling to afford childcare in the United States of America, there are programs that we have to make it easier for your kids to get in daycare, for your kids to get in preschool. Those programs should go to American citizens, not be defrauded by Somali immigrants and others. Make it hard for you to get the access to the resources you need. But number two, making it easier for people who shouldn't even be in this country to fleece the United States and our taxpayers to begin with. We have actually activated a major interagency task force to make it possible to get to the heart of this fraud. We have Department of Agriculture resources that are focused on SNAP fraud so that people who need food benefits can get them, but illegal aliens and other fraudsters don't. We have over 1,500 subpoenas that the Department of Justice has issued to get to the heart of the fraud ring. We've done almost 100 indictments, mostly Somali immigrants, but also a few others. And of course, we're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis, it's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible, is we are creating a new Assistant Attorney General position who will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. Now, of course, that person's efforts will start and focus primarily in Minnesota, but it is going to be a nationwide effort because, unfortunately, the American people have been defrauded in a very nationwide way.
Yep.
I wanted to read a quote from Tim Walz earlier today. Said, when things looked bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held the line for the nation on July 3rd, 1863, and I think we may be in that moment now. Can you comment on his rhetoric and Mayor Jacob Frey and whether they want to see unrest in Minneapolis?
Well, that's very tough rhetoric from a guy who just quit because his fraudulent activities have been uncovered. Look, Tim Walz is a joke. His entire administration has been a joke. The idea that he's some sort of freedom fighter, he's not. He's a guy who has enabled fraud and maybe, in fact, has participated in fraud. That's what this new Assistant Attorney General position is going to find out.
So who are you in this fight, Tim? The Confederates or?
Of course, nobody wants an American citizen to be killed. This is absolutely a tragedy, but it's a tragedy of the making of the far left. They have radicalized a very small segment of the population, taught them that ICE agents are engaging in wide-scale violation of people's rights. What our ICE officers are doing is deporting the millions of criminal aliens that were let in during the Biden administration. So number one, we have to say, as a matter of leadership, and I would appreciate if the Democrats would join me on this, let's be honest about the fact that we have way too many illegal aliens in this country. Our ICE officers should be supported in doing their job. You're trying to actually marshal the far left lunatic fringe to engage in doxing, to try to make it impossible for them to enforce the law, and in some cases actually to engage in acts of domestic terrorism against our law enforcement officers. When you talk about different plans, different protocols, different policies, I forget exactly how you asked the question. Here's the simple fact. What we're going to do is make it easier for the American people's administration to enforce the American people's law. And that means that Democrats have to stop rallying the mob against legitimate law enforcement operations. And that means that we are going to get tougher. And that's what this AAG position is about. We're going to get tougher at the people who are defrauding the United States by inciting violence against our law enforcement officers. That's one of the things that we're going to do. We've already started that work at the Department of Justice, but we're going to keep on doing it, and this new AAG position is going to kick that into high gear.
Nice.
When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well,
what a headline. My goodness.
That's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourself. When I was
Yep.
Well, I wish the state officials in Minnesota would investigate why you have so many people who are using their vehicles and other means to actually interfere with a legitimate
great freeze frame
law enforcement operation. The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job. The idea that Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous. The unprecedented thing is the idea that a local official can actually prosecute a federal official with absolute immunity. I've never seen anything like that. It would get tossed out by a judge. So what I'd like Minnesota to focus on is the real issue that they're encouraging people. Minneapolis officials are encouraging people to commit violence against ICE officials. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. Well, I wish what we have a responsibility to do is to protect the people who are enforcing the law and protect the country writ large. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you deserve to have the people's laws enforced in the United States of America. Now, again, I'm not happy that this woman lost her life. I'm not happy that this woman was there at a protest violating the law by interfering with a law enforcement action. I think that we can all recognize that the best way to turn down the temperature is to tell people to take their concerns about immigration policy to the ballot box. Stop assaulting and stop inciting violence against our law enforcement officers. That's the best way to take down the temperature. And we're not going to give in to terrorism on this. And that's exactly what's happening. People trying to antagonize, to commit acts of violence. They throw bricks at them. Sometimes they shoot at them. Sometimes they dox them. Sometimes they go to their place of residence and harass their families. This is classic terrorism. And we cannot say that when a far left fringe is inciting violence against our brave law enforcement officials, that we're no longer going to enforce the law. That's rewarding the very people who are engaged in this garbage. The actual reward that they just got is a new assistant attorney general who is going to prosecute and investigate this stuff even more aggressively than before. Well, being part of the network doesn't justify being shot, but ramming an ICE officer with your car, that's what justifies being shot. It's not a good thing, by the way, but when you force somebody to engage in self-defense, it's almost a preposterous question. I'm not saying that funding some of this stuff justifies capital punishment. Nobody would suggest that. The reason this woman is dead is because she tried to ram somebody with her car and that guy acted in self-defense. That is why she lost her life, and that is the tragedy. Now, there may be other violations of the law and other penalties that are associated with those violations of the law. For example, if you are funding violence against our law enforcement officers, I'm not a prosecutor. My guess is that's not the sort of thing that earns capital punishment, but it should sure as hell earn you a few years in prison if you're funding the effort to try to assault our law enforcement officers. What is, I'm sorry guys, what's going on here? You guys are meant to report the truth. How have you let yourself become agents of propaganda of a radical fringe that's making it harder for us to enforce our laws? You just asked me a question that presumed that the reason why this woman died is because she was engaged in legitimate protest. She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened.
Thank you. Yep.
I think Tim Walz should resign because it's very clear either that he knew about the fraud in Minneapolis, he knew about the welfare fraud, or at the very least he looked the other way. I mean, this is not this is not like Lex Luthor, right? This is not movie villain fraud. This is the lowest IQ possible fraud. This is, we're going to take kids, or sorry, we're going to take the absence of kids and set up a daycare center where there are no children, and we're going to call our early childhood education center the Quality Leering Center. By the way, if you can't spell learning, maybe you shouldn't be in early childhood education. But people got rich off of this. We know that there were schools who either had no enrollment or at least they overstated their enrollment. Tim Walz, either it was unbelievable incompetence or he was in on the fraud. That's one of the things we're going to get to the bottom of. I think Tim Walz should resign because it's very...
They go and find out.
So I've heard a couple of things. One, that I was kept out of the planning for the Venezuela operation. That's false. And another, that Tulsi was kept out of the planning for Venezuela operations. That's completely false. Look, we're all part of the same team. And one of the things that is really amazing about that operation is that we kept it very tight to the senior cabinet level officials and related officials in our government. And we kept this operation secret for a very long time. I'm very proud of that. I think it suggests that the team works very well together. Well, looking ahead, what is my role? Look, my role is going to be whatever the president asks me to do. Well, every single, or I should say every other day, I'm chairing the meeting that we do on this among White House principals to talk about next steps to try to ensure that Venezuela is stable. And as the president has directed us to do, to ensure that the new Venezuelan government actually listens to the United States and does what the United States needs it to do under our country's best interest. So I'm going to be as involved as the president wants me to be. So far, that's been very involved, and I'll keep on doing that so long as the president asks me to do it.
Good stuff. Okay.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. And I intervene here only because I want to respond to my friend from North Carolina, who I think starts with the...
Raskin just blathering on for 5 frickin' entire minutes about this bullshit. I'm going to skip it. Senator Schumer.
Well, I saw the video. It just turns your stomach. We need a quick and full investigation to get to the
turns your stomach like the kind that makes you sick or the kind where you get really excited?
bottom of this.
Which one, Chuck?
But when you have these ICE agents all over the streets of our cities without any cooperation with local law enforcement, local communities, tragedies, horrible tragedies, killings occur. Well, I've never been for ICE going into our cities, period. It doesn't belong there. And the mayors and county executives and others throughout the country believe they can handle it much better themselves than having people from the outside come in.
Wow. Washington Post brazenly lying on their front page. Surprise, surprise. asserting, contrary to reality and evidence, that the officer who was hit by a driver was not in the vehicle's path when he fired the weapon. That's insane. Yes, he was. Oh, wow. An Antifa-linked extremist anarchist blog claims it has released the personal information of around 14,000 DHS associates on the dark web. Yep, they claim we are releasing a list of around 14,000 breached ICE and DHS accounts from across the internet. The list includes various information in varying completeness for each account, such as first and last name, email address, password hashes, and in some cases, clear text passwords, home address, and phone number. Whoa. U.S. Embassy in Kiev issues a security alert warning of a potentially significant air attack that may occur at any time over the next several days. Oh. Russia about to hit Kiev. Now, this talks about that previous incident the ICE agent was involved in.
According to a federal complaint,
oh, wow, look at that perp. That's the pedo perp.
We're executing a warrant for 39-year-old Roberto Carlos Munoz. They say Munoz entered the country unlawfully, and he also pled guilty to fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct back in 2023 for abusing a minor. Tuesday morning, agents pulled him over. Court documents say he repeatedly refused to comply before a federal agent took out his spring-loaded window punch with his right hand and broke the driver's side rear window. These images show the officer's hand in the vehicle. In this video, you can see the driver take off with the agent hanging from the car, dragging him 300 feet through front yards. These graphic images show the aftermath. A bloody agent who needed 33 stitches for his significant cuts. And now a political battle with a top Homeland Security official criticizing Governor Tim Walz, posting on X, instead of comparing ICE law enforcement to the Gestapo, Walz should be thanking our brave law enforcement. The Department of Justice says a request for Munoz to be held after that 2022 arrest was, quote, not honored by local authorities, and Munoz was released.
Wow. No wonder he was prepared. Well, no wonder he was ready. He'd already been there. Must have been terrifying the second time around. Jeez. Radical left Karen outside Whipple ICE facility screams at DHS agents, "Shoot me!" Oh, yep. Fresh off the factory line. Here she is. Turbo Karen. This is the turbo model. As you can see. I'm your grandmother! No, ma'am. No, you are not. Oh, wow.
Our history. When things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now,
what is he talking about? What?
Now we may be in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy, our history.
What? He just invoked the Battle of Gettysburg?
Our history. When things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment.
What the heck was up with whatever that was, by the way?
63. 63.
He sounds like he's creamed himself or something. It's fucking weird.
And I think now we may be on that July 3rd, 1863.
1863.
And I think now we may be in that moment.
Creepy. Democratic California Rep. Julia Brownlee announces she will not seek re-election. Another one out. This one has experience with creaming himself in public, too. Let's see.
And if my Republican colleagues are going to do nothing right now, you better believe that accountability is coming. Here's what it looks like. The masks are coming off. Identification is coming out. Immunity is going.
So now we're against masks?
Going to be stripped. And to Kristi Noem, Tom Cashbag Homan, and Greg Bovino, your asses are going to be in these witness chairs.
I'm getting quasi-gay vibes from that. God. HHS Jim. What is this? Jim O'Neill. Okay. Next fall, medical students and residents will finally be taught the core basis of health, which is nutrition. Shocking, I know. Yep.
Miguel Diaz-Canel, do you think he could fall like Khamenei in Iran might fall?
Yeah, I think that
Trump.
Cuba's hanging by a thread. Cuba's in big trouble. Look, Cuba got all of its money for protecting. They were like a protector. They're tough, strong people. They're great people. Marco has a little Cuban blood in him. I think Marco's not doing a bad job, right? What do you think?
Macro Rubio.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
How is Marco Rubio doing?
Macro.
Is the equal of any Secretary of State.
He's now macro.
My lifetime, and I'm glad he's not taking the Dolphins job. He should work for the Browns if he leaves your administration.
That's very good.
All right.
Where he goes will be successful. But no, I think that Cuba's really in a lot of trouble. But, you know, people have been saying that for many years, in all fairness, about Cuba. Cuba's been in trouble for the last 25 years, and, you know, they haven't quite gone down. But I think they're pretty close of their own volition.
Miguel Diaz-Canel, do you I want to try and define the Trump doctrine, Mr. President. I've been trying to do it on the air. It's down to this. Don't kill or threaten Americans or our property or American security in general, or we will hit you very, very hard. Is that succinct?
And included in there is don't send drugs and don't send things that are going to kill our people. But you can sort of make the statement that you've indirectly said that. But it's a pretty direct statement. Don't send drugs into our country.
I want to.
You know, we're building great battleships. We have 25 on schedule, but we're going to start with 10, and then we'll see how that all goes. But we're going to build battleships. And, you know, I thought you remember from Victory at Sea, you take a look at those great, gorgeous ships, the Iowa, the Alabama, the Missouri, those great ships. And if you see, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah,
Victory.
provided they got lots of missile tubes on it. I'm all for them. The more missile tubes at sea, the better.
So, I said, why don't we take some of them out of mothballs? The new ships will be 100 times more powerful than those battleships that we so admire.
Now, I know you're upping the construction at Philadelphia Shipyard and enhancing its capacity.
And numerous others.
Yeah, I was wondering, are you going to build
We're
new
going back
ones?
into the shipbuilding business.
That is great. That's the best news. Do people understand how important that is to the economy,
Well,
do you
I think they know, but the Philadelphia yard is one of the yards that's going to be opened up, and we have numerous yards that are opened up. Some of those yards
Definitely a big deal.
have been built up by housing projects, you know. They're all on the water, so they tended to be in nice locations. But we have many yards opening up, and we're going to be very much back in the shipbuilding business. And in some cases, we're partnering with South Korea and others initially because we have to get, you know, we used to make almost a ship a day during World War II, and then we just totally got out of that business stupidly. But we're back in the shipbuilding business. We have
We ought to be.
to be.
Okay.
We have something that just took place with Venezuela that everybody considers one of the most brilliant attacks they've ever seen. And, you know, we lost no people in the middle of a fort. Don't forget, that house was built in the middle of a fort with thousands of soldiers. They lost quite a few people, I hate to say it. And
yeah, I talked to an active duty naval officer yesterday who's very jealous that they were not there because it was such an extraordinary mission.
It was
Our
an
military is
extraordinary attack,
amazing.
But you know what? We had an extraordinary attack a few months ago in a place called Iran. We knocked out the Iran nuclear threat, and it was obliterated. And we also took out Soleimani, and we took out al-Baghdadi. So we've had some good attacks. So far, we haven't had the Afghanistan disaster. That was the lowest point, I think, in the history of our country, Biden. But if you look also, the Jimmy Carter disaster, that was a disaster with the hostages. And, you know, when we were
every Democratic president is a disaster.
152 planes, I said, I hope it's not a Jimmy Carter deal.
No.
Bovino just executed a Title 8 enforcement arrest right near downtown Minneapolis.
Different than anyone else? Are they doing anything different?
Stay back, stay back.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Sit down there. Some of you can sit down there. You see, go to the other side. Relax. Sit down, guys. Let's go. Window. Relax.
All right, let's roll up.
Relax.
You sure you don't want to throw, I don't know, like a I can't breathe in there or something, just for good measure? Or can you not speak English? He can't speak English.
Hey, you can turn around. Did you want something? Hey, get these.
I'll stay across the street.
What's that? You guys want to talk to me? Hey.
Yeah, I want to talk to you. I hope you go to fucking hell.
I can't see your masks, guys.
Motherfuckers.
Guys
Fuck
got masks.
you, motherfucker. Where are your masks?
I don't have one.
I see
Men after my own heart.
faces.
All right, we
Because of
good?
the shame. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all should be fucking ashamed of yourself in your crisp ass uniform. Don't look like you got done a goddamn thing in your life. You're proud of yourself, huh? You're having fun
Pretty
here.
crisp.
You're having a lot of fun here, aren't you? Your stupid fucking Cabela's outfit.
Look who's talking, lady.
You. I hope you suffer. I hope you suffer a long, terrible death.
Title 8 immigration enforcement, ma'am.
I love Bovino. He's awesome.
Fuck your wife.
What? What was that?
Fuck your wife.
Okay.
Are we wrapped up?
We're good. We're just checking on you guys.
Yeah, we're good.
Again.
All right, guys. All right, we're going to Sector 4, guys. Sector 4. All right?
Yes, sir.
Sector 4.
Bye-bye, Lardo. Former brother-in-law of Renee Nicole Good, who was shot in Minneapolis, says she should have minded her own business. I agree. She had no reason to be there, in my opinion. It had nothing to do with her. She shouldn't have been in the way. She had nothing to do with the ICE agents or immigration, so she shouldn't have been there. She should have minded her own business. Joseph Macklin, brother of Tim Macklin Jr., who passed away in 2023. Tim Macklin Jr. shared a now 6-year-old son with Good. So now left fatherless and motherless thanks to mommy out LARPing on the streets. Good has 2 other children from a... Wow. Oh, you got 2 others, huh? Boy, oh boy. I mean, don't speak ill of the dead, but, you know, ew. Good has 2 other children from a previous relationship who are in the custody of their father. Surprise, surprise, according to Joseph. The Macklin father has also spoken out. She was a good, outgoing person. I didn't agree with a lot of her ways, but it's really sad to see these things happen. There's nobody else in his life. I'll drive, I'll fly to come and get my grandchild. Jeez. Oh, she was a warrior who trained to resist feds before the shooting. I wonder who it was that trained her. Hopefully that information is being dug up as we speak by certain authorities. Was part of a group of activists who worked to document and resist the federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota. Wow. Good, who moved to the city just last year, linked up with the anti-ICE activists through her 6-year-old son's woke charter school, which boasts that it puts social justice first and prioritizes involving kids in political and social activism. What the heck? Full-blown indoctrination camps? Like straight up? Jeez. What's the name of this shithole? What school is this? Southside Family Charter School. Opened all the way back in 1972 and has from its inception been unabashedly dedicated to social justice education. Pumping out good little soldiers for decades. Sick. This one apparently quit her job to protest ICE.
I quit my job for this, and I've been having flare-ups and stuff. So
oh
it's
my
like,
God, is it this one? Holy cow, this one is a fucking piece of work. Pardon my French.
I can barely, and I have panic attack. You said
no, you don't.
When you heard the sirens, you immediately
no, you don't.
Ran out. Where were you?
She's one of these people that like pretend to have like neurological disorders and panic, bloody effing blah for attention on social media. It's one of those people. What's the word for it? There's a word for it. There's a syndrome, a disorder. Psycho. Yeah, you could go with that. Yeah, total piece of work. In fact, I think did I tag another thing from her? Total fucking nut job. It's so crazy, dude. Oh, here we go. Just wait. Just wait.
Right down that street, I murdered a fucking woman in cold blood. I murdered a woman in cold blood. The police department is closed. The police are fucking clueless. I asked them for, where is the murderer? ICE has him.
There's nothing up there, okay? Like, nothing.
Because he's part of ICE.
Totally empty.
These are terrorists. If you are sitting on your ass at home, I am disabled. I have neuropathy in every fucking inch of my body. And I'm out there protesting. In pain, shaking, can barely fucking walk. Recovering from my own fucking trauma. And you're on your ass? A woman was murdered and you're sitting on your ass. We need more protesters. Help. Fuck. They want to make this normal. They want to make this the new normal and you're falling for it. You stupid fucks. It's not right or left. They did that to divide us. You dumb fucks, use your brain. Use your brain and research.
It's so good. I can't, in fact, it's so good I can't even tell if it's real or not. Like, is it an act? I don't know. Is she playing a character? Who fucking knows anymore? Oh dear me. Anyway,
I quit my job for this, and I've been having flare-ups and stuff, so it's like I can barely, and I have panic attack.
You said when you heard the sirens, you immediately ran out. Where were you?
I was about 15 minutes away.
And what were you doing?
I was disassociating on my bed. I mean, I might as well put my time to something useful. If you've seen the video, everything, it was not self-defense by that terrorist. It was not.
How did your boss respond when you quit?
It was like a part-time. I'm getting back after a lot happened recently in my life, so sometimes disability takes my life over, and I'm still kind of in shock. Like,
school's been canceled. Have people been taking off work for this?
Disability takes your life over, huh? Could have fooled me. Yep. No clue. Waltz authorizes National Guard to assist local law enforcement. Whatever that means. Guess we'll see. Trump stunned the experts by, big deal. Announcing the purchase of $200 billion in mortgage bonds to immediately drive down mortgage rates. Pretty serious about this shit. Locking out BlackRock and friends. Pray to God he can pull a rabbit out of his hat with this. Just total legend status. If he upends the housing market and fixes that, man. That I think we saw. Oh boy. Go back. What on earth was that? Renee Good, the woman who was shot by ICE after she attempted to run an agent over, was reportedly part of local ICE watch groups whose mission it was to, disrupt ICE operations. Okay. Not a legal observer, as they keep claiming. Just, a straight up radical anti-ICE activist. Nut job. This is the McDonald's that banned ICE agents.
In this McDonald's in Minneapolis, there's a sign on the door that says ICE is not allowed. We couldn't help but notice there's a sign that says no ICE on the door.
Yeah, just to let you know, at the end of the day, this is private property. So you can't just break the law because you're a federal agent. It's like coming into your house or coming to any other restaurant. There's rules. So.
Did the manager put that on the door? How did that get there?
I'm not sure, but it's there.
How do you guys enforce it?
I'm not sure, but it is there. I do not know, ma'am.
They read the sign.
Could read the sign, and it would tell you.
You know, at the end of the day, you have all right to come in and make a purchase. It's just there's rules and regulations. You can't just walk behind the counter.
And this.
Oh boy! All right. What else we got? There we go. Oh, that's right. I wanted to get to this. Hold up.
Okay, let's walk them out.
You ain't bouncing me, bitch.
We should go, man. We should go. Let's go. Let's go.
Grab his arm.
Keep your fucking hands. This is a woman, but you will get hurt, buddy. Keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Let's go, man.
Keep your fucking hands.
We're nonviolent.
Let's go.
We're nonviolent.
Let's go.
It's peaceful.
Let's go.
Stay peaceful.
Let's go.
Hey,
Let's go.
Patriots, get out of here. We need some backup, boys. We need some backup, boys.
Nice.
Hey,
We're peaceful. We're peaceful.
Hands up.
Walk away. Everybody back up. Everybody back up.
Don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt anybody, and there won't be a problem. That's what we're trying to do. Don't assault. See this, guys? We will not back down. We will not surrender. These people will not continue to intimidate us in our country. The storm is here. When we come, one, we go off.
What? Huh? I mean, you had it, and then you lost it, and then you just said that. Whatever that was.
To intimidate us in our country. When we come, one, we...
When we come... No. Oh no. Oh. I'm done. I'm done. I think that's it. I think I'm finished. Elsie, are you here? Save me. What did I just watch? Oh dear.
Don't come.
Do not come. Do not come.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, that was pretty cringy. That guy kind of has the psycho eyes too. Got the
Yep.
got the look.
Hey, man. It's a crazy world out there.
Yeah, that it is. That it is. A lot of wild stuff. It's 2026 is well, 2025 is wild. 2026 is going to be wild. We're in for just a wild ride for the foreseeable future. Any way you spin it, it's going to be nutty.
Yep, for sure.
But makes for fun, I guess.
Oh, how's the new little one, by the way?
Oh, he is good. He's 5 months old now, which is crazy. Goes fast, even faster with the second, maybe. I don't know. Time is just a blur at this point.
I can't believe it's actually been 5 months already. Wow.
I know. Yeah,
Jeez.
but Christmas was good with them. My daughter really enjoyed it. She's old enough to kind of understand what's going on a little bit. So
It's the best
massive
time.
shit show
It's
in
so
a good
great.
way.
Oh,
But-
enjoy that, man. Yeah.
Yeah. How was your guys's?
It was great. Yeah. It was very good. Relatively quiet, but it's for the best, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Well, I will get out of here and let you get to it, man.
All right. Well, say hi to Radix and the kiddo for me, and you guys have a great evening. I will see you next week.
Sounds good. Have a good show, man.
Thanks. See ya.
See ya. Bye, everyone.
All right, everybody. How's